In today's slop, Mark Maron throws jabs at Theo Von once again in a brand new interview. And man, it definitely seems like Maron won't stop toying with Theo. You know what I mean? And I love it. I love it. Theo needs to be toyed with.
What's the most sort of hilarious or combative post-joke encounter? Like, do you hear from an Ellen DeGeneres? Do you hear from a Theo Von? Do you hear from a Ricky Gervais after the Globes?
Oh. I didn't hear from Theo, but there were some people representing his interests.
What do you hear from them?
Well, I knew, like, I deliberated that joke a long time. You know, like, it's a very funny thing about making jokes about comics. So, like, there's this idea that, hey, you know, we're all
family.
Yeah, we're family. Yeah, but the truth is that if part of the family is dictating culture, you know, 80% of it, or has that much cultural value, they become ripe for criticism. I mean, it's like, what are you going to avoid that? It's like avoiding any sort of big cultural movement or personality. But I really thought about the Theo thing, and I thought that if he's going to get upset about that joke, then he can go fuck himself. It just, to me, it was like, it's too funny.
It was.
Yep.
It's just too funny.
It was.
The joke is hilarious, but it's hilarious because there's a lot of truth attached to it. Theo continuously platforms these evil sociopaths like Zuckerberg, Sam Altman, fucking the current Trump admin. And this man gives zero pushback. He lets them come on, spew out their misinformation, and he just plays dumb the entire time. Anyways, speaking of Theo, what's this man been up to lately? Well, looks like he spoke to an ex-CIA agent who has recently done the rounds in the right-wing spaces. So basically, I don't trust this guy. You know what I mean? How are you an ex-CIA agent going around saying that the CIA is untrustworthy? Like, wouldn't you think that the CIA would probably get somebody like, I don't know, the CIA to muzzle you? Like, if you're actually saying the truth, the CIA will freaking assassinate you. Do people fall for this? We are smarter than this, y'all. Come on now. Anyways, I'm gonna calm down. I don't know why I'm yelling. Why am I yelling? In comedy, the way I see it, punching up is the ideal way to go. You want to criticize those who are in power. And in my opinion, Theo does fit that criteria. He is now on top. When you make fun of Theo Von, you are theoretically punching up. This is a guy who has a lot of cultural influence, who has recently messed up big time. I mean, he played a huge role in the 2024 Trump campaign. You know, obviously he had that Trump podcast that went uber viral, many viral clips. He humanized Trump in that podcast. He's had on Vance multiple times. He's had on RFK Jr. This man is essentially a part of the Trump admin. He even went to the freaking inauguration. So yeah, he's a target. Like, if Pryor or Carlin were alive right now, God bless their souls. If they were alive, I would guarantee so much money that these dudes will be targeting Theo Von in their specials. I would be willing to bet everything on that. Also, side note, Nikki Glaser is siding with Mark Maron here, which kind of caught me by surprise. I mean, considering how Nikki Glaser went on the Theo Von podcast multiple times back in the day, but from those podcasts came out multiple, and I mean multiple viral clips between those two. They had a good connection. I just want, just food for thought, just wanted to point that out.
And, you know, and I never heard from him, you know, but I heard a couple other comics, that was a little rough. I'm like, was it?
It wasn't.
It's not. It's just a roast. These guys are so sensitive, though. There's another big comic that's very mad at me right now for something I had nothing to do with. And it's just sort of like, all right, the free speech thing is limited to not talking about them.
Mark Maron just ended out with this goated response. Free speech is limited to not talking about them. Boom. It's over. It's over. Knockout in the first round. It's over. We move forward. There's nothing here to see now. The thing that stands out to me is the double standard. The Rogan sphere built their brand on questioning people, challenging narratives, and criticizing public figures. That's fine. You know, criticism is a part of the game. But the moment someone pushes back or criticizes them, suddenly it's framed as bitterness, or they're jealous, or an attack. What are we doing? And as we see right now, they have done more harm than good. And on top of that, they aren't taking any sort of responsibility for the Trump disaster right now. Theo Von, I mean, he's critical of Israel, but he still hasn't really said nothing directly about Trump. Joe Rogan, this man was just in the Oval Office. They're playing dumb. They're fence sitting. I can't deal with that, dude. Somebody who can't take any sort of responsibility or accountability for their own actions. What are we doing? These dudes, Theo Von is 46. Joe Rogan's in his late 50s. What are we doing, bro? Fuck off, Joe Rogan. I really don't like this dude. I really do not like this dude. Also, I found this beautiful meme, and I'm like seriously considering making this my profile pic. You know what I mean? As some of y'all might know, I often refer to Joe Rogan as the big toe. Look at this. Beauty. Hang it up in a museum. I love it. We move forward. Anyways, in this video, we're going to talk about Mark Maron and Theo Von. This clip came out like 2 days ago, something like that. So we're going to chop it up here and there. But yeah, if you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. I truly appreciate it. If Theo had a chance back in the day, this man would have interviewed freaking Stalin, Mussolini, Genghis Khan. Like he would have found a way with Genghis. He would have been like, oh, Mr. Khan, you know what I mean? Khan man, they probably call you, you know? So like, you got like a vision, right? No, I kill and I conquer. Oh, all right then, you know what I mean? Perhaps even conquering is not that bad. I remember this one time, this kid in my neighborhood had trouble conquering his own sexuality. You feel me? That's exactly how it would go. Also, Theo can't get mad. Like, you're a comic, dude. He's complained about this multiple times in the past. This free speech warrior has gone to bed saying, oh, how come I can't joke about certain subjects? But God forbid you actually talk ish about him. You know, Maron stated that Theo never directly retaliated or said anything to him regarding that joke in the special. But definitely everyone else in the Rogan sphere, including Joe Rogan, I'm assuming Tony Hinchcliffe as well, were going to bat for Theo Von. They were over here. They got the orders from the big toe, basically stating, fuck up Mark Maron. To me, it's just a one-way street, man. This just comes across so hypocritical. Also, I said this earlier in the video, can we stop pretending like this man's like in his 30s? Theo Von is 46. 46. You know, and that's not old. You know, I'm not trying to, you know, discriminate or have any ageism here in this. But like, you know, I feel like everybody else around him was like, oh, they treat him like a freaking child. You know what I mean? They're like, oh, that's just Theo. You know what I mean? Who else but Theo? Bro, what do you mean who else but? He's 46. Enough with that. He's not innocent. You know, he's a man. He's a grown man. He's a grown man that should take accountability for his own actions. That's what grown men do. Also, for context, or more context, Joe and Maron apparently made up. You know, this happened about, I'd like to say 2 months ago. You know, they were going back and forth in, you know, multiple podcasts. But before I show you the original clips, this is Joe Rogan stating that him and Mark Maron, about 2 months ago, are now on good terms.
I actually made up with Mark Maron the other day. And he was pretty honest about how, you know, maybe it's his own mind and, you know, it was a very sincere interaction, which made me happy.
You can have your bitch ass feelings.
Yeah.
Just don't have your bitch ass emotions and don't act bitch ass. Just don't act bitch ass. That's when you start having issues, when you put it out in the universe, because it's still inside you.
You gave into those bitch ass feelings. It's normal. It's normal.
To be honest, I don't believe Joe Rogan. I don't believe him for anything. Like if I were to see Joe Rogan walking on the street and he says to me, "Good morning," I literally will question myself. It's like, oh, there's something about this morning must not be good. Like something happened. Like what does he mean by good morning? Also, him saying that Mark Maron got into his quote bitch ass feelings. That's how you got big, though. You know, dude, you got big in like 2010, 2015 because you had down to earth conversations that were very relatable. You made your guest open their emotions, open up. You know, it was a very cordial conversations that had sincerity and I guess genuineness always at the forefront. That's how he got big. So what are we talking about these bitch ass feelings? But like I said, these two dudes have been going at it for a while. In my opinion, correct me if I'm wrong, please. I think part of this stems from Maron's jealousy towards Joe Rogan. I mean, Mark Maron has a deep, deep track record of him going off and not just, attacking Joe Rogan, but also attacking other comics who are much more successful than him. He's done that throughout his entire career. But at the same time, I do believe that Maron genuinely feels like this is the correct move to him. I believe him when he states all his critiques of the Rogan sphere. I mean, it's an easy target. It's right there. And he's a comic, a veteran comic. I believe he saw an avenue to attack. He did so, and he did it in a brilliant way. I mean, he took them down with just factual comebacks or factual arguments. You had no retort to him. And of course, Joe Rogan got butthurt, as he always does, because this man can't take any sort of criticism.
Joe, the thing with Joe, is I don't know that we have a lot to talk about because of my idea of what he's done to comedy.
Sure.
And I don't think it's great. I think that it's tribalized, and I think that he's created a sort of army of people that think they know comedy, but they only know a specific thing, and what they think is good is not necessarily good. It may be what they're like, what they like, but on the outside of that, most of the sort of sensitive weirdos that we all grew up with in comedy have been sort of pushed aside, and the space for them has become limited.
So when I said what I said about the comics in terms of what was happening in Austin and around that sphere of comics and that audience, was just to really make a point because of their cultural momentum and their presence, that they don't get to dictate, what comedy is, because they've created this audience of what was primarily not comedy fans and created this new breed of, pseudo-radicalized comedy fans around anti-woke comedy. And there was just this thing that was happening where they were getting or assuming the last word about what comedy was. And it was fairly unnuanced and very hackneyed in terms of its repetition of 2 or 3 ideas that were primarily right-wing talking points.
Say what you want about Maron. Maron cooked them, obliterated them in those compilation clips. There's no comeback to that. He's literally stating what exactly happened in real life. You have no comeback to reality. We've seen it multiple times with the Rogan sphere, propping up these right-wing voices. Look where we're at right now with the Trump admin. It's mainly because the Rogan sphere, amongst others, but, the Rogan sphere propped up Trump. And most of them, if not all of them, have still not taken any sort of accountability. I'm looking at Andrew Schultz. I'm looking at Tim Dillon. I'm looking amongst others. None of them are sitting there and saying, I fucked up. Instead, they're playing dumb and they're fence sitting.
Maron was doing really well at one point in time in his career, and now he's not. Right. So Mark Maron had the #1 podcast, and after a while, his podcast wasn't even in the top 200. Right. It dropped off. Bill Burr, his career's took off. Right. He's doing arenas. He's killing it. Mark's not. And Mark finds reasons to criticize other people that are doing much better than him. And he focuses on that because he thinks he should be getting more than he deserves.
That's pretty much right there, classic Joe Rogan. This was earlier before they go and made amends, apparently. I don't believe it, honestly. I feel like it's just more for show. Everything with Joe Rogan is performative. But, shout out to Mark Maron. Even though I believe part of his critiques or attacks on the Rogan sphere stems from jealousy, maybe 15 to 20% of it does. But the rest of it, I believe he genuinely believes that the Rogan sphere is just a complete and utter negative to society. He came with valid criticisms, and the Rogan sphere have yet to pretty much respond. All they say is, he's just in his bitch-ass feelings. That's typical of Rogan sphere comic. Anyways, y'all let me know what y'all think. Just want to make a quick video about this. Yeah, Theo Von, dude. What the fuck, man? When I saw that he was interviewing that ex-CIA agent, I was just like, dude, have you not learned your lesson yet? Come on, dude. Have you not, what? He's a child, though, apparently. He's a child. You got to be delicate with Theo. Anyways, y'all let me know what y'all think. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. I truly appreciate it. Nikki Glazer on Theo Von's podcast was actually really funny, though. She was, but it is what it is. Peace, y'all.